Oh, it was amazing. It was, an amazing moment in sports and obviously boxing. Francis taking his pro debut, making his pro debut against the best heavyweight in the world, and everyone underestimated Francis, including Tyson. And so it was an amazing night and performance. And I think it really sets up Francis nicely, as well as the PFL. We're really excited about launching our pay-per-view division next year, and Francis will play a big part in that.
Should he have won in your eyes? A lot of people saying that he was kind of quote unquote robbed, but do you think that the result should have been different?
Yeah, like many, I think it went Tyson's way because Francis, candidly, it was the new guy. Me personally, I was not in the naysayer group. Knowing Francis and all of his capabilities and determination, and listen, he dropped him in the third, and while Tyson, scored more points with his jabs and more punches, the punches that Francis threw were much more powerful, and I think that's he's the hardest punching athlete in all of combat sports.
When you saw him knock Tyson down in the third, what was going through your head?
It's on. It's on. I think there's going to be no shortages of major, fighters and bouts for Francis to take on. So I'm sure there's a significant amount of inbound, and Francis and his camp are evaluating all those options. What we're excited about is MMA and launching our pay-per-view division next year. Yeah, I mean, in 2024, we're working out those details, based on, in parallel with his plans in boxing, combined with the PFL's plan to launch our super fights division. But Francis will for sure return to the cage in 2024. Well, his journey is one that was, built with so much adversity, right? As an African athlete who had to, essentially walk through the desert and make his way to Europe, and found himself in Paris, living on the streets until he found an opening while he was seeking to make his way, as I understand it, as he shared with me, to Germany to become a professional boxer, and then made a right turn in Paris after his first visit to his first MMA gym. And then it was on. And he had all the capabilities, and he made his way, obviously, to the UFC, to the very top. And now he's another turn. But, Francis is dictating the tempo. He's, once again, as I said before, he's created, his platform, and we love it. We have a shared vision. He's keen to not only continue to compete, but he's keen to grow the sport of MMA, professionalize it, create a system around the world. PFL, we're launching 6 regional leagues. We have PFL Europe up and running in 2024. We'll have PFL MENA in the Middle East up and running, and that'll be headquartered in Saudi Arabia, that league. It'll be made up of the best fighters from the Middle East competing in our sports season format, right? And then in 25, we launched PFL Africa, as I said earlier. And going back to Francis's journey, right, as a professional athlete, what he's excited about and what we're excited about, in particular for athletes on the continent of Africa, we're going to create a new path for them. Ideally, less adversity, and where fighters can actually, and there are amazing athletes on the continent, and combat, sports athletes and fighters, and we're going to put resource, into developing the ecosystem in MMA, so that athletes can develop at different stages, compete at the highest level against top competition consistently on major media platforms, and give them the pathway to earn their right to become PFL Africa champions, and then another pathway up to PFL Global, and perhaps some of those top performers can then make it to that pay-per-view perch in the PFL Super Fights division, where Francis will be competing on. So, that's what we're excited about, and Francis really has the vision, sees our vision, and we're combining, all that in our respective capabilities to build the number one MMA league on the continent. And so we have some coming announcements before the end of the year in terms of strategic partnerships, media distribution, and other alliances on the continent, because the road to PFL Africa is on. He's a great human being, fantastic partner. He's incredibly, focused on this chapter of his career, continuing to take on MMA, taking on boxing, as well as, building a platform for himself in business, including the launch of PFL Africa. And Francis will play a major role as the chairman in that. I think both ways. I think you'll see, more MMA fighters, break into, boxing and other forms of combat sports. What makes the PFL different, we're pretty flexible, with fighters, including Francis, and, depending upon what the fighters' goals are, their capabilities are, how it ties in with our season or scheduled events. We're a big proponent of it. So I think you'll see more MMA athletes try to take on boxing, and then vice versa. And not easy to do. From a stand-up fighter, one-dimensional in boxing, to come over to MMA. But we have a number of women who are doing that, some of the best women in the world, from Claressa Shields to, Savannah Marshall, Amanda Serrano. Recently, Claressa renewed with us, and we recently signed, both Amanda and Savannah into MMA. So we're seeing it the other way as well.